Well, let's bring in the former Labor Senator now, Stephen Conroy, for our regular Tuesday chat. Stephen, good to see you as always. So it looks to be kind of short-term gain for long-term pain when you're looking at these figures today. You've got the surplus, yes, but then you've got red ink for the 4 years after that. What do you make of it?
Well, look, I think firstly, the argument that is clear in the Reserve Bank's forecasts of inflation, where Michelle Bullock thinks that her entire job is to pander to the Fin Review editorial and about 20 market economists versus the government and Treasury, who've got to actually manage the economy for the whole of Australia. I mean, the estimates, the wild claims that interest rates, three times going up for the rest of the year will be utterly dismissed tonight. What you'll see is that the Reserve Bank, it has been consistently wrong. Like, its forecasting is just wrong. And people, your viewers need to understand the Reserve Bank consistently are getting these forecasts wrong. They're wrong on wages. They're wrong on inflation.
Everyone's getting them wrong.
Real
Reserve Bank, Treasury.
But every time but Reserve Bank get to make decisions.
Yeah.
The Reserve Bank get to make decisions on interest rates. And when they're getting it consistently wrong, you've got to start questioning their forecasting and their model. And you and I have talked about this many times.
Yeah.
And they just keep getting it wrong. And they set the interest rates. And that's just not acceptable.
Do you think it's a big call, though, to put the timestamp on the fact that inflation's going to be beaten by Christmas?
Look, I think what Jim was indicating, that inflation will be within the target range. When you say beaten, it doesn't mean zero. It means in the target range by the end of the year. And if you look at the data, not the idiots at the Reserve Bank who are doing these forecasting based on models and faulty modelling. I'm sorry, it's just like they've got it wrong. You've listened to me many times on this, but they just keep getting it wrong. And they won't accept that they're getting it wrong. So every month, they use the same model and give the same wrong forecasts.
Okay.
And so what you'll see is the government expects inflation to ease back into within the target range. And there's going to be a lot of egg on the face of the Reserve Bank when you start to see the data coming in showing that the economy has almost been crushed. I mean, you can remember the real world data says the economy is being absolutely crushed by the Reserve Bank's behaviour.
OK, let's go to these protests. Pro-Palestinian protests again. It's been a long-running theme now. It's popping up at more and more of our universities again. In Melbourne last night, it's showing no signs of slowing down. And this was initially an Israeli protest that had been hijacked. Well, look,
you've got a circumstance where peaceful protest is welcome in Australia. It's part of the fabric of our democracy. But where the pro-Palestinian rallies are crossing the line is they're starting to become intimidatory, rolling thugs. And that is not acceptable. Peaceful protests, go and stay in your lanes, be a protest over in the camp embassy, all good, not a problem. But when you start targeting rival whether they're symbolic protests or whether they're actual celebrations of the Jewish culture, that is not acceptable. And in Melbourne in particular, we've seen the hijacking of many of these Palestinian protests into more direct, outright thuggery and outright intimidation. And we've got to call this out. It is not acceptable. Students are entitled to go about their daily studies not feeling intimidated and threatened. And the campuses have got to do more. The government have got to send the message more. This is not acceptable behaviour in Australia.
Yeah. OK. Stephen Conroy, good to see you as always. We will chat to you again soon.